Good evening all. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Leo. I've been dancing with Rainbow Nation since the start of 2020, a good year. And this is my first charity gala. I also do drag, I love cats, and I am a non-binary trans man. When I was first asked to do the speech, I tried to think how best to capture what it means to be trans. And to be frank, right now, being trans means to live in a state of fear and hostility. Governments, including the UK's, and so-called human rights institutions are seeking to deny, if not outright erode, the ability of trans people to exist, to be recognised, to enjoy even a basic standard of living. We have a media that is full of talking heads and public figures who claim to support our right to choose, while at every step trying to undermine our right to exist. And according to the LGBTQ teen study, 70% of young trans people aged between 13 and 17 years old have experienced harassment or physical assault while using a public bathroom. And 36% have been sexually harassed. Being trans means having to wait a lot. In this country, you can spend 4 to 5 years waiting on the NHS just to see a gender specialist, and then have to wait several more years to actually get access to hormones and surgery, while all the time having to prove to doctors who don't know who you are that you are trans enough to deserve gender-affirming care. And that's if the right kind of treatment or surgery exists as an option. But you know what doesn't wait? Puberty doesn't wait. Gender dysphoria doesn't wait. And when nearly half of all young trans people have attempted suicide, having access to proper healthcare is literally life-saving. Being trans means being invisible. In this country, non-binary people do not have legal recognition. And the history of trans people, both pre- and post-colonialism, has been erased. And speaking as a trans person, it's almost impossible not to do it to yourself, because we need to make careful judgments about who we're out to, what jobs we apply to, where we can travel, which doctors to speak to. Ours is a society that conveniently forgets that trans people exist. Recently, after being sexually assaulted, I tried to get emergency contraception and was denied because the pharmacy I went to only prescribed that for women. But still, despite all of this, I think that we're lucky in the sense that in other countries, people are still subject to state-sanctioned violence. And I think the fact that trans people here are the lucky ones, despite the abuse, the bigotry, the neglect that we have to put up with, I think says a lot. Being trans. This one's just for the back row, thank you. And also relevant, because I was going to say, being trans means being resilient. It means knowing yourself far better than anyone else will know you. Because I'm proud to be who I am, and I'm so very proud of all the trans people I know who continue to fight, to campaign, to put themselves out there despite all the violence and hatred they have to deal with. But then you might be asking, so where do we go from here? Because at the end of the day, there are only so many of us, and with media refusing to engage with trans people in good faith, it is not possible for us to defend our rights on our own. So we need your help, queer and straight people alike. It can be small things, for example, sharing your pronouns, showing support for trans people in work, in your social circles. It can mean actively learning about the experiences of trans people and the barriers we face. And these seem like small things, but they can go a really long way towards creating a safe space for trans people around you to be openly trans. It can be something like donating to trans charities, donating to fundraisers for surgery, to trans-friendly medical centres, including sexual health clinics, like 56 Dean Street, that plug the vital gaps in healthcare for trans people. It can be joining protests, writing to MPs, campaigning, calling out transphobia, be it from ignorance or malice that you experience in everyday life. Charities like Stonewall, Mermaids, Transaxual, and Gendered Intelligence have done a lot of work to combat misinformation in the media, and on the website you can find a lot of resources on what you can do to support trans people, especially trans children. Because at the end of the day, it is one thing to say that trans rights are human rights, and please do keep saying that, that is correct. But at the same time, trans rights is more than just a slogan. It's safe access to bathrooms, to GPs, to education, to jobs, to housing, to domestic abuse and rape crisis centres, to life without fear and intimidation. To those who say that the rights of trans people are just politics, our existence is political. Thank you very much for listening and for your support by being here tonight.